Did you see that shit? MMA podcast. Hosted by mixed martial arts journalist Mike Strauss, aka Strauss21, and Chicago's number one underground comedian, Apollo Taj Mahal.
Yo, Apollo.
What's poppin', homie?
Bellator World Welterweight Grand Prix.
Yeah, I was very confused when they announced that. I thought we had a number one contender. I thought we were going to be doing a super fight, but I guess we're going to be getting a tournament.
Some of Bellator's own fighters were confused. I was actually speaking with Jordan Young, whose interview we'll play later in the show. He's fighting at Bellator 201. He is one of their most highly touted prospects. I was speaking with him, and I informed him of the Welterweight Grand Prix announcement because it was just like an hour or so after then, and he didn't even know. He was flabbergasted. He was like, wait, what, welterweight?
Yeah.
So I had to explain to him. So it's news to everybody.
So when I first heard it, I was very confused, but now that I think about it and I've had time to digest it, it makes sense for this one reason. Bellator has one of the best welterweight divisions in the world.
Maybe the best. We'll get into that more in detail in just a little bit here. Let's give a quick rundown, Apollo, on what we plan on doing on the show.
All right, no problem.
We're going to cover PFL 2 from last week in Chicago, UFC Singapore. Of course, we'll talk a little bit more in detail about the Welterweight Grand Prix. Titan FC 50 is this weekend. We had a chance to speak with one of the gentlemen participating in the main event, Sidney Outlaw. Talk a little bit about that. Bellator 201, as we mentioned, is going down this weekend. We'll give our main card picks, and we have 4 big interviews. Bellator 202 fighter Aaron Webb, the aforementioned Sidney Outlaw, the aforementioned Jordan Young, and the one and only Mike, the Truth, Jackson.
The homie.
But in case you didn't know, we are the guys from the Did You See That Shit Mixed Martial Arts podcast. I am Mike Strauss, a.k.a. Strauss21. That is Apollo Taj Mahal, Chicago's number one underground comedian.
What's up? And you're listening to the fastest growing podcast out there. You can listen to us on pretty much what you're listening right now. Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasting needs, you can listen to us there. Give us a like and subscribe. You can also visit our website at didyousee.shit.com.
Do all those things, guys. If you do it in that order, good things might happen. I don't know. They might not. Do all those things. And our YouTube channel, Mike Strauss, a.k.a. Strauss21, had to change the name for verification reasons. I have to try to keep everything congruent under my name in order to get the little check verification. I looked into this, and across all platforms, it basically needs to be the same thing. So all of our content is still up there, guys. Like, subscribe, love it. If you want to get more personal, give me an email, mike@didyousee.shit.com. All right, let's talk about PFL 2. Happened last week in Chicago here. What are some of your main takeaways?
So, main takeaway, 1, Chicago is probably the second most corrupt state and dumbest commission I've ever seen.
I think we might have overtaken New York.
We haven't yet. We're close. We're getting there. We're trying to make a claim for it. But we are probably the dumbest commission in the world. 1, how can a guy tap and not tap?
Yeah, of course you're referring to the Efron Escudero and Jason High fight. So Josh Stewart was the referee. And let me just preface this because I know Josh. He is a very competent referee. He has a good track record. He's a nice guy. He just blew this call, man. You know, he just blew it. Jason High did not tap. But to me, the most disconcerting thing is, you know, they reviewed it and they came to the same conclusion that, yeah, he tapped. So as you mentioned, man, the Illinois Athletic Commission is fucking just, it's a mess. It's corrupt. They had 3 issues. That was one of them. And then also with the kick to the groin, Thiago Tavares, he got 5 minutes to recover, and he couldn't continue, so they ruled it a TKO via low blow, which usually that is ruled a no contest. But I guess in Illinois, we have a separate bylaw.
Where we allow you to get knocked out by getting kicked to the ball.
Really, nigga?
Right. So, I mean, basically what's that saying is in Illinois, a legitimate strategy for a fight is to kick your opponent in the groin and hope he cannot continue. You will win via TKO.
Chet Congo wants to fight in Illinois every time.
And then the third time they dropped the ball on Thursday at PFL 2 was when the Brandon Halsey fight, the doctor stoppage between him and Shlamana Rama between round 2 and 3, the doctor stopped the fight. Now, normally that is ruled TKO round 2, 5-minute mark. Illinois decided to score it TKO, doctor stoppage 1 second into round 3.
Now, if you do not know what's going on in PFL, you would listen to this and go, well, it's a win, it's a win. No, the problem is that they're in a point system for $1 million. This is life-changing money, and they are fighting for it. Not only are they getting paid for the fight that they're fighting for, but they also can make $1 million. So these points matter. So the fact that it happened in the third round rather than the second round, that goes against that fighter.
Yeah, so Brendan Halsey is basically going to earn 1 less point. So instead of the 5 points, he will earn 4 points. And on the surface, this might not be an issue. However, if he misses the playoffs by 1 point, then potentially they did cost him $1 million. But also some takeaways from the Nightman, Kayla Harrison. I thought she looked good. It was a very good debut for her. She obviously needs to work on her stand-up, but the thing I really love about Kayla, she is not blinded by these bright lights and where she is. She knows she's a novice. She knows she has a lot to work on. I really dig that about her. She's a very down-to-earth person. It was nice to actually be able to speak with her for the first time face-to-face, and I really, truly think she is the star that the PFL needs to really catapult them to compete with Bellator and the UFC, man.
So my biggest takeaway, besides all the controversy, I do want to say PFL 2 was a great night of fights.
It really was, yeah.
Yes, it was a great night. So even though you had controversy, still, I'm giving it up to the PFL because a lot of these issues weren't their fault. It was the commission in Illinois.
And a quick shout out to the PFL staff, man. Very professional. They did a great job. I've been to a number of events now covering them, and I can tell you that they are just a first-class organization. So just hats off to them. They did a great job.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway was Brian Foster.
How about him?
Holy cow. Now, listen, I am a huge Ramsey fan. Back when he first was in The Ultimate Fighter, and then he was on it again in the Redemption season, I thought he was going to win. But, man, that flying knee was pretty crazy, and he was scrapping with Ramsey, which is not easy. Ramsey is a legit fighter. He can compete with pretty much anybody in the world. So for Brian Foster to be able to get that flying knee and a guy that I really didn't know much about, he is definitely on my radar.
Yeah, I think Brian Foster and the Ramsey to Jim fight, to me, that was definitely the highlight of the night, the fight of the night. Both of those guys really gave everything. You know, they poured their heart out in there for us, back and forth, and Brian Foster is an animal, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what both those guys are going to do in the tournament, and we'll have them both on, too, later in the year. So
also, quick congratulations to Will Brooks. He got his first win in a while, and, you know, it kind of looks like he might be hitting his stride again.
Definitely a big win for him. All right, UFC Singapore happened at 4 in the morning here. Of course, it was a little bit different in Singapore, I'm sure. Let's quickly just give our reactions and our thoughts here. I'll give you some of mine. Jake Matthews, man, this kid continues to impress. He got a rear naked choke in the first round over Shinho Anazi. And listen, now this kid, Jake Matthews, improves to 14-3. You might remember the last time Matthews fought, he fought against Jing Liang, who also fought on this card. Remember the eye gouge? The really egregious eye gouge?
Ridiculous.
That was Jake Matthews. But this kid is back every time this kid competes. He looks better and better. He improves to 14-3, and I think he's going to be a contender in this welterweight division in the next few years. I really do. This kid is talented.
He looked really, really good. My biggest takeaway of the entire night of fights was Ovince St. Preux. What do we do with this guy? It seems like he's going to keep beating up everybody in the lower ranks and not allowing anybody into that, you know, top echelons, but he can't seem to break through to a number one contender. What happens with this guy?
I don't know, man. Ovince is a guy that, you know, sometimes he looks like trash, for lack of better words, and sometimes he looks good. I picked him to win this fight only because when I don't pick him to win, he busts me in my brackets. He always comes through. So
he's very inconsistent. You know what he's starting to remind me of is a guy who was actually on this card as well, and Donald Cowboy Cerrone. He looks like a world beater 1 minute, and then the next minute you're kind of looking at him like, who are you? And that's kind of been Donald Cowboy Cerrone's career. You know, when he gets to that top echelons, he tends to not shine the way you see him against like a Rick Story.
Right. Yeah, and Ovince St. Preux, if the listeners don't know, he submitted in the very first round Tyson Pedro with a straight armbar, and now Ovince improves to 23-11. So not a bad record, pretty respectable.
Yeah, very respectable. And Donald Cowboy Cerrone is talking about fighting either 5 more years or 5 more times.
Yeah, let him. Why not? Also impressed me on the card, man. Keenan Song, another welterweight. TKO in round 2 over Hector Aldana. This kid improves to 14-4. The aforementioned Jiliang Liang, another welterweight. He got a unanimous decision over Dachi Abe. And let me tell you, Jing Liang, I've been a fan of his in the past. I think he is one of Asia's future stars, maybe even current stars. But he did not impress me in this fight, so I was kind of hoping for more. And then, of course, in the main event, you mentioned Leon Edwards defeated Cowboy Cerrone by unanimous decision. Edwards now improves to 16-3, but, I actually didn't score this fight for Edwards. I scored it for Cerrone.
Me and you talked about this fight, and I'm on your side and I'm not on your side.
Well, for the listeners, I don't think they know what my side is.
Yeah.
Let me just briefly explain it.
Explain your side real quick.
So round 1 and 2, I don't think it's up for debate, right? Clearly, in my opinion, rounds 1 and 2 went to Edwards. Round 3 and 4, in my opinion, went to Cerrone. And round 5 would be the deciding round. Mm-hmm. And I thought Cerrone won. So to me, it would be a 48-47 Donald Cerrone. However, I don't think this is a robbery. If someone scored it for Edwards, I can easily see that. There's not even an argument that needs to be made to convince me. I can see it. So I just personally, I thought Cerrone won the fight. That's all. No harm, no foul. But be that as it may, man, something we didn't know after this is that Cerrone basically said that he was on death's door before this fight. He was throwing up, he was ill, and he was very close to not doing this fight.
That's saying a lot for Donald Cowboy Cerrone.
That's saying a ton because there's only one other fight he's ever had to postpone, and that was the Lawler fight, and that only postponed by 3 weeks. So this guy doesn't walk out of fights, and for him to almost have to call off this fight, he wasn't feeling well. So the point I'm trying to make is I don't think Leon Edwards looked all that good.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
He eked out a decision over Cowboy Cerrone, who is, let's face it, he's not what he used to be. And he was, an hour before the fight, he was thrown up and ill. And you snuck out a decision? People are high on Leon Edwards, and I'm like, I don't get it, guys. Listen, there's times in that fight where he looked good. He did. He looked good. He's a professional mixed martial artist. You better look fucking good. You know what I mean? But they're talking about this guy, top 50. Listen, you put him in with Max Griffin or one of these guys that are on the cusp of top 15 in the welterweight division, and it's my belief that he will get smashed.
So, I don't know. That's where I'm at. You know what I saw? I saw promise. I saw a guy that looks like he's starting to put it together.
Yeah.
And Leon Edwards.
That's what I saw, too.
Who could be a top 15 guy.
Right. But people are talking like this guy is ready for Jorge Masvidal. I'm sorry. Masvidal will finish this cat within 5 minutes.
So, I'm also not that high on Jorge Masvidal, and I never have been. I really haven't. And this is no respect to him. I just never felt he was a top 5 guy or even... I can say he's a top 10 guy, but I've never been high on him. But I don't think that is a matchup I want to see for Leon Edwards right now because I really like when fighters get built up. I don't like when they get thrown into the fire quickly.
Well, Edwards is a guy that just a couple months ago was calling out Darren Till. And I think we could both agree that Darren Till would blast dude.
Oh, I think just size-wise, he's just way bigger. But Leon Edwards, I think a great matchup for him would be someone like Max Payne Griffin. A fight that a lot of people, even the casual fan, would love to see. So I think that should be the next fight made. Max Griffin, he does have a fight coming up. I think he's going to win it. And if he wins it, hey, Leon Edwards is right there. And I think that could be who's an argument for the top 15.
Yeah, Max, of course, has a fight at UFC 226 against Curtis Millender. So that's a good fight, though. Hopefully he gets past that.
If he gets past it, timing matches up perfectly.
So Bellator 202 is coming up July 13th in Thackerville, Oklahoma. We had a chance to speak with Aaron Webb. He is a cat that is from Joliet, but he has been living and working in Oklahoma these last few years. And the cat is very cool, man. He has Joliet grit with the Midwestern kindness and morals of Oklahoma. But I'm really looking forward to seeing him compete at Bellator again. I'll be there in person to cover it. And very cool guy. Here's Aaron Webb. I want to welcome Aaron Webb to the show for the very first time. He is a featherweight fighter, and he fights next at Bellator 202. What's going on, man?
All right. Doing good.
Appreciate you doing this, man. I don't know if a lot of people got to see your last fight, but you looked phenomenal, man. It was your Bellator debut, and you had some adversity, but you came back and you finished the job in spectacular fashion with a knockout. How was that whole experience?
Oh man, it was a good experience. I thought I had it all under control. Yeah, he was hitting me good. I just really had to dig deep and really put it on him. That basically. But it was a good learning experience, basically to push myself to the next level, and especially fighting on Bellator. It's kind of a good thing too.
Yeah, I mean, they liked you enough, man. You got a quick turnaround fight here at 202. It's going to be in Thackerville, Oklahoma. Have you ever fought in Oklahoma before?
Yes, yes. I've been in Oklahoma the past, was it 4 years? Because I'm from Joliet, Illinois. I moved out here for a better opportunity to work and fight, and everything been moving forward for me. So it's kind of a good thing.
Very cool. So, when's the last time you've been back home to Joliet?
Ooh, like probably like 2 years.
Okay, so a little bit. Yeah, we're out of Illinois too. That's why I asked Joliet's not too far from me, only about 20 minutes, and so I'm very familiar with the area. So 202, man, Bellator 202. Your opponent Daniel Carey. He's a very dangerous dude, but I know you're not scared. Without revealing too much of your game plan, what are going to be some of the new tricks that we can expect from Aaron Webb?
Oh, lots. Gonna pull a rabbit out of the hat, man. I'm gonna go in there and have fun. Basically, put on a lot of new techniques that I've been practicing on. Just basically be a lot aggressive. Just be in his face, and that's one of my plans. Just to keep the pressure on him.
That's what it's about, man. Where are you spending most of your time training nowadays?
Solid MMA, Cobra BJJ. It's based off in OKC, and Yukon, and I don't know how I can say it, but yeah, it's borderline of a Yukon and OKC. So, but I've been fighting there. I've been fighting there since I've been in Oklahoma. So they've been my family for 5 years now. So that's kind of good.
Wow. Okay. How long have you been training in total?
Total years, MMA I did 4, boxing I did 3.
Okay, so you're still the MMA thing is relatively new still, so you're still growing into this very much.
Yes, yes. I'm growing every time I fight in the cage, so I get better and better. So, I'm kind of blessed to have an opportunity to fight for Bellator. So that's good.
Were you always an athlete growing up?
Yes, yes. I used to run track, cross country. I did wrestling for 1 year. And I did a couple of karate, taekwondo. So I stayed. I'm type of a athlete guy. I'm very athletic. I did a lot of stuff, so I'm kind of always up for being competitive. So.
Do you prefer to box or do you prefer jiu-jitsu?
Oh man, my bread and butter, boxing.
Yeah, I figured as much. I wasn't sure, I mean, that being said, you still train in all aspects. Obviously, it's mixed martial arts. How would you say that you split your time? Would you say I mean, obviously, because people that saw your fight, your boxing is definitely the strength. So, do you spend more of your time working on your jiu-jitsu, or do you just kind of really work on your strengths more?
Oh no, I do it all. I'm a blue belt and jiu-jitsu 2 stripes, so I'm
Okay.
getting the experience that I need to be on the ground. I do no gi, do tournaments, so I try to stay active and keep that competitive edge on the ground. So when I do have a fight come up, it'll be second nature.
Yeah, you're very well versed. You said you're a blue belt, 2 stripes. You do so you're no stranger when the fight hits the ground. It's just you prefer to keep it standing so you can show everybody your power.
Yes, yes.
Was that power? Was that something that you worked on, man, or is that something that you've always had? Because I tell you, man, there's not many guys at 145 that could put the lights out like you did.
Man, I don't know. Honestly, I live a lot of weights. I'm naturally. Everybody say when they roll with me and sparring with me, all my teammates they tell me I'm strong. I hit hard. So when they say 50 to 20% of sparring, we up like, all right, man, I need to go 20.
That's that Joliet grit. That's that toughness, right?
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time, man. The floor is yours. If you want to shout out your sponsors, anything you'd like, man, I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Quantum CBD H2O water, because they provide me with the healing and everything that I need to get a full camp in and make sure I train hard every day. Core Hog, I want to give a shout out to him. Anytime Fitness on Hefner in Oklahoma. They provided me with a lots of money to help me provide myself with privates to, you know what I'm saying, to grow as a fighter. So, and plus I want to get a shout out for Solid MMA, Cobra BJJ's for always being there for me and pushing me and believing in me. And I want to thank my wife for always having my back. Her name is Heather Webb, and she's the one that pushes me the most, you know. So you already know, as a wife, yeah, she's the one that always have my back 120%. So, and it's a lot more. Joliet, if you in Joliet, man, all my friends, David Bowe, Jeffrey Harris, all my friends that's in Illinois. Man, I'm kind of happy and blessed that I get to fight for Bellator, and man, just basically keep on moving forward. That's my whole motto in life. Keep moving forward.
Well, I appreciate it, Aaron. I will be there in attendance at 202, and I look forward to seeing you firsthand, and hopefully we'll get a chance to catch up there too. And you're right, man. Behind every good man, there's even a better woman. I feel you.
All right, yeah, I'm ready to put on the show and have that crowd going crazy. That's one of my favorite things to do. As long as the crowd's happy, I'm good, and as long as I put on a good show, I'm good.
I hear you. Well, I look forward to meeting you in person, man. We'll have to catch up when they have some time for the press and fighters to get together at 202.
Oh yes, I would love to do that.
Take care, Aaron.
All right.
All right.
Man, living in Oklahoma really only allows you to do one thing: fight.
Yeah, exactly. Very cool cat. Can't wait to meet him in person. And this weekend, Bellator 201 goes down. A gentleman that we've had an opportunity to speak with several times on the show. It's my opinion that he is one of Bellator's most promising prospects. He's coming up in middleweight now. He's coming up to light heavyweight. I think it's going to be fantastic for him. He is fighting this weekend, as we mentioned, Jordan Young. You know what? We're going to go through the Bellator 201 card here briefly, but first let's play the interview with Jordan Young. I want to welcome Jordan Young to the show. He's fighting at Bellator 201. And, man, are you ready?
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm feeling good. Feeling real good.
Well, I know that you just got out of the barbershop, so you got a fresh look to go with a fresh skill set, right?
Always. You have to look like money to perform and make the money.
That's true. Well, I know before we got the interview going, we were talking about the PFL and how ATT, your team, was represented in strength there. I've seen in some of your social media feeds, you and Kayla Harrison seem to have the same strength coach, Phil Daru. How was that seeing her out there?
It was real good to see her go out there and perform. We also share not only strength and conditioning coach, but we also share a boxing coach in Dia Davis. So, and Mike Brown. She had Dia Davis and Mike Brown, and that's usually my two cornermen. So we share close, the coaching, same coaching staff.
Very cool. And you've been at ATT for a while now, man.
Yeah, it's been, I think we're going on 2 years now.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait. This is a big fight for you at 201. This is a guy in Jamal Pogues. I know he's 4-1. I looked up some of his fights. Do you know much about him?
I seen like his last two fights is what I saw, and from what I see, he looks like a good fighter. You have to watch out with guys who aren't really well known. This is going to be his first fight in Bellator. With the fact that he's a young guy, he's only 23 years old, so you have to expect him to be hungry. And we had a good notice for this fight. I think it was like at least a 10-week notice for both of us. So I expect him to be in good shape as well.
So how are you liking 205? How do you think that's going to work for you?
Yeah, 205, it's feeling amazing. This camp has been really productive, and I felt really good throughout it. There's not been like a period of suffering, you know what I mean? I haven't been forced to put in a workout because I'm worried about weight or getting a sweat in. It's been a change of pace for me, but I believe it's a good one.
Yeah, I do too, man. I mean, you're still a big light heavyweight. You're 6'4", so I mean, just the fact that you were able to make middleweight at one point in time is just crazy. Are you finding now that you're growing more into your frame as well?
It is amazing that I made 85, and then it's crazy to think that at 18 I was fighting at 170 pounds, and I still was 6'3" then. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, and now that I've grown into my size a little more, I think that it was evident that I didn't really have a choice but to move up with, I missed weight, I think, twice, and then I was struggling. I had to catch weight, and, it was just my body was talking to me, so I listened to it, and it's paying off now.
You're on a 9-fight win streak. Do you even remember the last time you tasted defeat?
And I do technically, because I only have one loss, but it was an amateur fight. So I don't know what that feeling is like, especially not when anything's on the line like money. And I'm not looking to find out what it's been.
Yeah. What do you do for free time? Are you a video gamer? I mean, would you like to go out to the club? What's your thing?
Yeah, so, it depends what's going on in life. Like, if I'm fresh out of a fight, you know what I mean? I just put in the work and went out and was successful. Of course, I like the clubs, and I live in South Florida, so, Miami is just a little drive away, and there's a lot of fun stuff to do down here. So I like to do that stuff for sure, but if I'm locked in or just in training mode and I'm not bullshitting, I like to be in the house. I like Fortnite. You know what I mean? I have a big Great Dane. He just turned 9 months, but he's already like 145 pounds.
Wow.
And then as well as I have a girlfriend too, so we spend a lot of time cooking. We like to cook all types of different food.
That's cool, yeah. I know girlfriends and wives, I know that can take up a lot of time. And you mentioned Fortnite. That's something that my son actually got me into, and now I can't stop playing the damn game. How good are you? Because I'm still really, I'm a novice still.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I got a lot. I think most of my wins are in solo, but I've knocked a lot of duos out, and with squads, I'm pretty good as well. I have some friends who are really good, so it makes squads a lot easier on me.
That's impressive because I'm still looking for my first solo win. That should tell you my skill level.
We can fix that for you. Are you on Xbox or are we on PS4?
I'm a PS4 guy.
Okay. See, that's the problem. After I go take care of Jamal this Friday, then maybe I'll scoop a PS4 up, and we can get you going.
Yeah, that'd be appreciated, man. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's a free game, right? But I've spent over $200 in skins and different add-ons. You know how it is.
Yeah, it's an addicting game. Anybody that's listening right now and wants to add me, I'm on Xbox One. Check me out at JAY1 and then spelled out 80 and then the number 5. So JAY1 80 spelled out and then the number 5. Yeah, like I said, I like to play that a lot. It's a super fun game, and it helps take your mind off if you're, focused in camp and, grinding day in, day out.
Yeah, no, it really does, man. It definitely does. And what I find about it is I could sit down and play it, and before I know it, I put 3 hours in, and it's like, where did the time go,
Yeah, for sure. Time flies when you're having fun, that's for sure. Real fun, you know what I mean? It's not forced. It's something that no matter what I'm doing or where I'm at, be at the mall or at the beach with my girl, I know, like, all right, when I get back home, you know what I mean, I'm going to log on and get a couple dubs.
Yeah, right. Did you see Bellator announced a welterweight Grand Prix tournament today?
Welterweight Grand Prix tournament?
Yeah, they announced it today. They have plans they're going to start it in September, but they're going to do a welterweight Grand Prix tournament.
Wow, I like that. I like what Bellator is doing there. In my opinion, you got the PFL, like we were just talking about before the interview started. PFL has a great format, and I think they're introducing new things to the sport, like the Thursday night fight time. Of course, they're on NBC, and as well as they have the payout. I think the Bellator is, right there with them and doing the most innovative things. We don't see like other promotions doing tournaments and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's super interesting. I also see they just signed Lyoto Machida. I'm not quite clear on whether he's going to be a middleweight or like heavyweight or both. I know they say, I think in the initial signing report or whatever you want to call it, it said that he was going to fight as both, but people say that all the time, you know what I mean? And then they come out and actually fight at one. So We'll see what he does as well.
I've always liked what Bellator's doing, man. I think, Scott Coker knows what he's doing, man. And I don't know, it's just fun, It doesn't always have to be so rigid and strict, Sometimes it's cool to have fun, right?
Yeah, what I like about it is that it's real. Like, if we're going to have fun, then let's have fun. Like, sometimes, like the UFC, I think, they make it seem all serious, you know what I mean? Like, we have to follow ranking, do this and that. They implement these ranking systems, and then at the end of the day, they don't end up following the ranking systems. They end up, doing what's fun for the fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. And I was just talking with someone about this, but it's like, obviously fighters miss weight in any promotion, right? Bellator fighters, UFC fighters, certain fighters, occasionally, you're going to miss weight, right? But the thing is, it's always overblown in the UFC. And in Bellator, it happens, it's taken care of, and it's never an issue. It doesn't blow up because it doesn't need to be made an issue. You know what I mean? It's handled more professionally, and why can't it all be? I don't know. I don't understand,
Yeah, it simplifies it for sure, and it just feels real, like we're not getting, sold false, you know what I mean? Just false, like what the company's built on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, man, I appreciate your time. It's fight week for you, so I know that you're probably super busy. I always like to give people a few minutes here, shout out your sponsors, whatever you'd like, man.
Yeah, for sure. So I appreciate you guys for giving me a call, and I appreciate everybody who's tuning in. And also, check me out this Friday. It's going to be the prelims, Bellator 201. I'm fighting Jamal Pogues. And also, if you're on Instagram, check me out at JAY185. I'm trying to get that changed to 205, but, Instagram, I'm verified. Instagram, is playing with me. They want me to contact the support or something. But anyways, this is going to be a good fight for me, and I'm looking forward to the future. So, I'm looking forward to talking to you guys maybe after.
For sure. Well, Jordan, I appreciate it, man. You're always good to me. Bellator 201 is going to be awesome. And I think that you mentioned this a little bit earlier, but not in our interview, but a couple of weeks ago I saw Bellator 201's prelims is a really, really good showcase of talent.
Yeah, for sure. I'm interested to see when the payout comes. I bet you I'm the highest paid prelim fighter out of all that talent.
As you probably should be.
My man.
All right, there you go.
I'm such a fan of that guy.
Very cool, Kat. Briefly, let's talk about the prelims here for Bellator 201 because I really believe it's like a showcase of stars. You have Joey Davis, Tyrell Fortune, Ed Ruth, and the aforementioned Jordan Young all fighting on the prelims. So all those guys in the next couple of years are going to be Bellator stars. So this is really a special card for them in terms of that. The main card here, we're just going to quickly give our picks and breakdowns. You have Valerie Letourneau, something of a women's MMA pioneer, mixed martial artist of that regard. She's 9-6. She's going against Christina Williams, who's 2-0. I had a chance to speak with Christina Williams last week when PFL was here. However, it was on my phone. I didn't have a chance to record it. I did write an article. If you want to check it out, it's at mymmanews.com. It's a very cool article, and Christina Williams is a very nice woman. Now, this fight takes place in the flyweight division in Bellator, and I like Williams, man. She's 2-0, and I like her to improve to 3-0 over Letourneau.
I'm going to have to agree with you. I was bouncing back and forth with this pick. Valerie Letourneau has been a pioneer in the women's division. She's been around, and I thought her veteranness would definitely allow her to get a win. But Williams, she looks promising. So I'm going to go with the young cat. I think that she's going to be able to improve to 3-0 as well.
And then you have Juan Archuleta. He's a gentleman we've had on the show before. He's 18-1. He's going against Robbie Peralta in a featherweight clash. I'm just going to call it like I see it, man. This is bad matchmaking. You have Juan Archuleta is 18-1. I believe he's one of the best guys that Bellator has in the featherweight division, going against a guy in Robbie Peralta, 19-8, who he's a competent martial artist, but listen, he's not in the class of Juan Archuleta. I think Juan is going to easily win this.
This isn't even I just looked and go, Juan, he wins. Done.
Then you have Ryan Couture going against Saad Awad. This is at a catchweight of 160. For what it's worth, man, Saad Awad may be one of the most underrated guys that competes at lightweight and welterweight. He's 22-9, and he's a guy that really gets no love, but I think he will beat Ryan Couture, and I think he will do it pretty easy.
I have never had faith in Ryan Couture. I just haven't. He is disappointing me every time I thought he was on his way up. So I am going to go with Awad. I think that he will be able to win this fight. I don't have faith in Couture anymore.
Then the main event of the evening is Limale McFarlane. She is Bellator's 125-pound champ. She's undefeated at 7-0. She's a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu fighter as well. She's defending her title against Alejandra Lara. She is 7-1. This is a sneaky good fight because, Limale McFarlane, I think she's one of the very best women doing it at 125. She may not, have the recognition that some do. She's very, very good. But this Alejandra Lara, she is posing a challenge to Limale that I don't think a lot of people are expecting her to do. Now, I do think Limale McFarland will remain champion. I think she will get by Lara, but this is going to be a way closer fight than people think, in my opinion. But I like Limale to improve to 8-0 and walk out of there and still.
I believe the O will go.
New champ, you say?
I say new champ. McFarland, I've only seen her fight once, and what I noticed is obviously her ground game is amazing. She's a 10th planet jiu-jitsu person. Her striking is okay. I just have this weird feeling that an O must go.
How dare you?
I know.
Titan FC 50 also goes down on Friday. You have Rosh Manfio. He's defending his lightweight championship belt against friend of the show, Sidney the Gun Outlaw. Sidney Outlaw has been on Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. He actually won his fight, didn't get a contract. He's out there grinding. One of my favorite guys to speak with, just always positive, always cool. Here's our conversation with Sidney Outlaw. I want to welcome back Sidney Outlaw to the show. I appreciate you doing this, man. I know that you're super busy and you got a fight coming up. How are things?
Thank you, man. All glory to God. I'm able to keep moving, doing my thing. I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It's all we can do, man. It's all we can do.
Right.
You've been staying busy, man. It looks like you got a fight here at Titan FC 50 coming up June 29th. How do you feel, man?
I feel great. So, going out there to have fun. That's about it. I'm straight focused.
What have you been working on?
A lot of my stand-up, a lot of my setups, and just more just confident on not being afraid to try different things and working on bad positions just in case I get there. Working on my, also being more busier on the ground. It just so happened like when I don't know if you guys remember my last fight on the Contender was very boring. So and I also been working on my diet so I can constantly be able to make 55 whenever, and be more proficient at that weight, so I can perform a lot better and do what I do all the time,
For sure, man. Well, if I didn't know any better, I would think that you're on a 4-fight losing streak. For the way you're speaking, you're on a 4-fight win streak. You're just, of course, like all greats, you're very critical of yourself, man. But you're a phenomenal fighter. You're on a 4-fight win streak. You got a huge main event coming up, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the 155 because in your past you fought a lot at 170 catchweight fights too, but 155 is where you want to be, right?
Yeah, that's my weight class. It just so happened everybody it was normally deals, and for the Contender it was when they hit you up saying I got the 55 ring and combat title, and the Contender hits you up. That basically the UFC say, yo, we got to fight for you at 170 my core. You don't say no. I don't even know how to say no to that. So we just took bit the bullet. It wasn't a hard bullet to bite. You just whatever you can get, you get. So I'm a 55er. I'm a claim that I'm a 55er.
If promotions like Titan and the UFC and more promotions started implementing the other weight classes, like 165, say, would you consider fighting at that weight class?
You know what? I definitely would. I'm just looking at common sense. 100. If they have 165, then what ends up 70 pounders is willing to lose. You know what I mean? That extra 5 pounds. And I don't think it's going to happen. I'm trying to get my hopes all up.
Yeah.
But, if it is, I definitely will. But for right now, I'm just focusing on the 55 pound. And, eventually 70 will be, I just want to when I get to the UFC, I want to make my name, obviously thinking about titles. So I got to get in there first, and just show them what I can do and who I am,
For sure. You still spend most of your time at Renzo Gracie's, PA?
Yes, I do go to Renzo Gracie, PA with Rich Latta, working on most of my technique there. And then I also train all Renzo Gracie affiliates. I'm on my home team, obviously, Ricardo's. I go to Rich Latta up in PA. That's who made me. Driven with James Neal. Oh, that's the heart. Freaking love that. That's my home. Strength conditioner at Bulldog. So I'm go to Renzo Gracie, New York. Go to Dante Rivera wrestling at Elite Wrestling. I'm just trying to learn, trying to be better than I was yesterday. Trying to be every day. I know where I should be. I know where I want to be, and I just gotta. Am I making sense here?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, 100%. And of course, you want to be in the UFC, right?
That's what I sacrificed so much for it. So it's I don't want to just do anything else because I sacrificed and I've done so much, for that one specific goal. And it's like, dude, it's gonna be so hard, if I don't get in it. But if I don't, God's willing, he got a better plan than what I want,
Have they reached out to you? Have they reached out to you for a short notice fight yet?
A whole after this fight, we should be getting some news.
Okay.
Apparently from my manager after this fight, but it's, some little stuff happened, but it's all good. It's a little corny high school drama stuff, but we'll fix it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, you got to be. 4-fight win streak, as I said. You're on a tear. You got to be one of the guys at the very top of their list that they want to bring in, man. So just keep doing what you're doing, man. You're one of the best that's not in the big show. I think that it's just a matter of time before you get there, brother.
Thank you so much, man. I'm trying, man. Like I said, I got great people on my team, especially my sponsor, like Health Fusion, Eat Clean Pro, New Jersey Nutrition. So, I try to surround myself with, I try to surround myself with a lot of great-minded individuals, Edson, I train with Edson, Frankie, So it's kind of like impossible to do wrong, only if you have the wrong mind. If you have the right mindset, it's kind of impossible to do wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, it's just really hard. It's really just sport. It's not even sport. It's so brutal. You can't already take a break. I'm just blessed to be able to live in my to love my workplace and love what I'm doing. I'm really fortunate.
Yes, sir.
But,
definitely one of the special ones if you get to do what you love, right?
Yes. Some people say they love it. They like to fight because they got a little aggression. They got some extra testosterone. But no, they don't really like it. I feel like if you like it, you gotta love. You gotta fall in love with the process. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You just can't fight day. By all means, everybody like to fight. I hate cut weight, but now I'm in love with it. Because now I get to learn more about myself. I know that I'm a freaking beast. I'm a different animal. I don't even know what kind of animal I am. That's how different I am.
They haven't discovered it yet.
Yes.
Well, man, it's always a blast talking to you. I really appreciate you taking some time with me, man. Especially just like a week and a half out from your fight here. The floor is yours if you'd like.
I appreciate you.
If you want to shout out your sponsors, man, anything you'd like.
I definitely want to give a shout out to all my sponsors like Eat Clean Pro, Health Fusion, New Jersey Nutrition, Birth and Bath, the Sauna House, Beast Coast, all my team, Dante, Ricardo, Elite Wrestling, Driven Gym, Rich Roddick. All my coaches too. Keith, my conditioning coach, one of the best around. My first round management for helping me out, and Battlestar Entertainment. My friends, all my mentors and friends and everybody. I'm just blessed with everything.
Well, I appreciate your time, Sidney, and I can't wait for your fight June 29th on Titan FC 50, man.
Thank you so much, Big Dog. I appreciate it.
Take care, man. All right.
I think he got it, man.
You think he's going to be the new lightweight champ over there at Titan?
I think he is because when I saw him on Dana White's Contender Series, he has it.
Well, if I remember correctly, he fought Michael Cora on the Tuesday Night Contender Series, and Michael Cora was way bigger than Sidney Outlaw, first off, but Outlaw grappled him the majority of the fight, and that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for guys that go out there. But listen, that's what Sidney had to do to win that fight. So I don't fault him for that. I think he will get in the UFC sooner rather than later. And man, a win against Manfio on Friday could be exactly what he needs to get into the big show. So the big news in the last couple of days, I would say, was the announcement of Bellator's Welterweight World Grand Prix.
Dun dun dun.
What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I kind of expressed them at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to go more in depth. When I first heard this, I immediately go, huh? Why? We just got a new champ, and it seems that we have contenders. You have John Fitch. You can even, if someone wants to make an argument, MVP. You have Paul Daly. You have Lorenz Larkin. You have Douglas Lima. It makes sense to just, why don't you just do the number one contender type thing? Mm-hmm. But then I started thinking, who has the best welterweight division in the whole world?
It's debatable, man. The UFC and Bellator. You could easily say Bellator.
I'm going to say Bellator because who's in UFC's top 5 doesn't, in my opinion, is not as stacked as Bellator's top 5. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I look at that and I go, they have the best welterweight division in the world. Just flat out in the world. What would be the most exciting thing to see? To see some of the best fighters having to compete in a tournament to see who gets to face Roy McDonald for the championship?
Well, we knew that Bellator wasn't done with their tournaments because Scott Coker and company, they had hinted at more tournaments coming. We didn't know it was going to be welterweight, but I'm pleasantly surprised, man. You know, they haven't officially said who was going to be in the tournament yet, but it's fun to speculate. So let's see. We know Rory's going to be in there. I mean, you also have Paul Daly, MVP, as you mentioned, John Fitch, Douglas Lima, Lorenz Larkin, Andrei Koreshkov. Those are the people I think. And then for the last spot, you can go Gerald Harris, right? Or if you want to make things interesting, if you want to re-sign Michael Chandler, he's looking for big fights. Put Michael Chandler in the welterweight tournament.
Boom. And you know what? He has a legit case that he could win because he is
Absolutely.
He is a big lightweight.
I don't think he's a big lightweight, but he's already been talking about fighting at super fights, going up in weight. This is perfect for him. This might be the thing you need to lure him back because I've been hearing he's close to signing with the UFC. So
as much as I would love to see him face the best of the lightweight division in the UFC, which I think the UFC lightweight division is the best in the world. I think that's what they have up on everybody else. I weirdly want a Michael Chandler versus John Fitch or a Michael Chandler versus Douglas Lima.
Come on, Chandler versus Paul Daly?
Oh my gosh, I would love to see. Well, actually, it would just be a repeat of John Fitch and Roy McDonald.
I don't think so.
With more mauling.
With all due respect to John Fitch, he's one of the people that have been most gracious to me with this time. But Michael Chandler isn't as patient as John Fitch is.
He's going to take him down, just maul him.
Right.
It's going to be a more violent version of those two fights.
I mean, you got so many options there. For alternates, you got a guy that's fighting this weekend, and we mentioned Ed Ruth. You also have Logan Storley. So, I mean, you have a number of guys, man. This is really cool. Also, some big news from Bellator. They announced at their press conference here their new 9-figure multi-year distribution deal with the streaming service DAZN. Now it's spelled D-A-Z-N, but it's actually pronounced DAZN.
I thought it was Dazni.
Stop it. Just stop it. Well, I first thought it was DAZN, but it's actually DAZN. Like you're in DAZN?
DAZN.
DAZN.
Someone was crazy baked when they came up with that name.
And it's a streaming service, and from my understanding is it's not going to cost any additional money, thank God. So, and they're going to have
Wait, so it's going to be free?
It's a free. I believe it's a free streaming service. I'm pretty sure. And as of now,
he's going to have DAZN on his phone.
They have 7 exclusive Bellator events right now, and I know they're going to be looking to add to that. So we'll keep you posted when we get some new info on that deal.
I'm going to be DAZNing on my phone.
Okay, so the new look MMA Hour premiered this week, along with Ariel Helwani's new MMA show. Did you have a chance to watch either of these?
My father, Daniel Cormier, was on the new Ariel Helwani show.
He was.
Through voice. We didn't get to see his beautiful, beautiful face. That's a handsome-looking man, if everybody has to say. And I had to listen to him talk because he is my favorite fighter of all time. I look up to him. He is my role model. But I liked it, but it felt like the MMA Hour. Like there's no difference to me between them. There's no difference between them. When I was watching it, I felt like I was watching the MMA Hour, and the set is very similar. The look is very similar. It just feels like they just took the MMA Hour and put it on ESPN Plus.
See, to me, it felt, well, that wasn't on ESPN Plus. That's on regular ESPN. But to me, it felt completely different. Let me just state this, and I know this wasn't part of the question or what we said there, but the other show that Ariel has now that is on ESPN Plus, Ariel and the Bad Guy, I watched it, and for what it's worth, I didn't like it at all. It felt way too ESPN-y to me, and it just felt way too... If you've seen one ESPN show, you've seen them all.
Yeah.
Just plug in content. I didn't like that. So, of course I'm going to watch the new MMA Hour. Of course I'm going to watch the Ariel Helwani show. I watched the MMA Hour with Luke Thomas.
Did a really good job.
It was okay. I thought it's going to take a little bit of while to get used to because Luke does things different. I'm a fan of Luke Thomas. I'm going to continue to watch it. I liked it. I think they need to work out some kinks. But let's focus more on the Ariel Helwani show here because, I know it's new and I hope it gets better because I just didn't like the way it all worked week one. I'm going to give it a few more before I have my final, before I state my final opinion on it. But I did run a Twitter poll for Shits and Grins. We got 150 votes on it. And basically the question was, which show is going to be better? Is it going to be the Helwani show? Is it going to be the MMA Hour? Are they both going to be fantastic or neither going to be good? And we had 150 votes, and it broke down like this. 52% of the votes said the Helwani show will be the best. 7% said the new MMA hour will. 33% of the votes said they both will be great. And 8% said neither are going to do well. So,
I am on the both. Now, I do want to say about Ariel and the bad guy. I don't know if I like their chemistry yet.
well, episode 2 of that show will actually air later today. We're recording this Wednesday, so
Yeah, so we'll see how their chemistry is. But I love Chael Sonnen when he's by himself.
I like Chael too, and I think their chemistry is fine. I mean, they've known each other for over a decade. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is the way that the show is. Listen, when you're doing your own thing, you can do your own thing. But
Yeah.
when you're on ESPN, you are very structured and very limited, and they tell you what you could do, and they tell you where you have to look, and they tell you what you have to talk
Yeah.
about, and you have to talk about the certain topics that
Conor
people perceive.
McGregor.
Right.
That was the biggest debate on there, and I was so tired of it because it felt like I was watching First Take talk about
Exactly.
MMA again, and it's like, no, you have two very knowledgeable guys,
And that's the problem
on MMA
with the ESPN platform.
If you want to tackle a Conor McGregor topic, do it right and allow them to use their true knowledge to really tackle that conversation.
Well, that is the fear of the ESPN deal. All right. Someone who doesn't have any fear, Mike the Truth Jackson, he proved that at UFC 225 when he basically took on the whole arena because they were all pro CM Punk, basically. We had a chance to speak with Mike the Truth Jackson again, and, well, here's our conversation. I want to welcome Mike the Truth Jackson back to the show. What's going on, dude?
Nothing much. Just enjoying life. How are you?
Man, another day, another dollar, right?
There you go.
Man, so lots to talk about, man. I was in attendance there at 225, and I'll be honest, from my point of view, brother, I didn't think you deserved to be treated like that by Dana White. I mean, you beat the dude's ass, plain and simple. His claim of showboating and all that, I didn't see it. I just didn't see it, man.
Yeah, I think it was just the way he interpreted the fight, not knowing my style. I mean, a lot of people, as far as UFC fans go, like, they don't know who I am. As far as the fighter goes, they know me as like a photographer, a photojournalist, or whatever. Mm-hmm. They don't know me as a fighter. They don't know my style. And just to kick it off, like, I'm getting a lot of, oh, you were disrespectful and this, that, and the other on my actions. And so what I think a lot of people don't understand, especially from the outside, is like, I'm walking into hostile territory. I'm walking into an arena filled with people who are booing me. And being that this is, yeah, it's a fight, but it's also entertainment. Look, I'm fighting a former pro wrestler here, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm feeding off like what they're giving me. So I'm getting nothing but boos in this arena. And so I'm feeding off that, and I'm joking back with them. I'm doing the hand gestures like I'm eating their booze, and people are mad at me for that. I was like, but they're booing me. Like, what do you, I mean, it's like they expect me to have no emotion as I'm about to walk into a fight, mm-hmm. which is nothing but emotion, right? So that was one thing. It's like, and that's what I'm getting is like people are talking about my hand gestures. It's like, oh, he's a clown and he's disrespectful. I'm just like, but they're booing me. I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? So I have that, and then people are telling me I'm disrespectful because I look bored. These are things that people have said to me. It's like you look so bored, and I'm like, yo, that's just the way I fight. I have no emotion on my face. I didn't know that I had to show emotion when I fight.
But you look very relaxed. You look very composed. At no time did you look like you were in any kind of danger. But like you said, man, you didn't want to run in and get caught because you did not want to be that guy that got beat by CM Punk.
Right. So, I mean, you have all these things. Then people are talking about I was disrespectful when I wasn't looking at him when I punched him. And I'm like, people are really like looking for things to be upset about. Because all of these things are like, it's made up outrage is what it is.
Well,
right?
I'm glad you brought up the no looking while punching, because that's something I want to talk about. Because okay, I understand what Dana said. He could take that as being kind of like showboating. But here's the thing, man. Not only were those successful punches, you landed every single one, so that's effective offense. But not only that, what is the difference between what you did and what Anderson Silva did to Forrest Griffin when he had his hands down and he was bobbing and weaving? What's the difference?
I don't know. It's like you get people, again, it's selective outrage. It's it's just made. I don't get that because I'm a logical person, and when I look at this and when I hear people saying what they're saying, I'm just like, y'all don't make it. None of y'all are making any sense here, you know. And so like I asked a reporter, I say, hey, you know, from your perspective, did it look like I was showboating or taunting him? He said, well, in the moment it did, but then I heard what you said in your post-fight interview. I went back and watched the fight, and I was like, oh, I get what he's saying now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's all about perspective. And so in my mind, it's like I'm just giving, because I know Dana's an emotional person.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's quick to like say a bunch of stuff. And I think if he had an opportunity to hear what I had to say about the performance as opposed to just his opinion, then it would be different, you know. And then people talking about, oh, it was the worst fight I've ever seen. I went back and watched the fight. They're 100% wrong. Again, these people are just saying things because Dana said it. And it's almost like they're looking for validation. Because all I'm getting, I still get people, even to today, they're like, yeah, Dana said you suck, and Dana said you're fine. I'm just like, well, what about your opinion?
Yeah, right.
You're basically, it's like, these are people who, whether they're trolls or not, and I think most of them are trolls, but I think there are also some people in there who legit feel that I suck because I didn't go out and knock this dude out. I chose not to knock him out. I chose to carry him 3 rounds because of the reason we were in there. Like, there was no point in me going in there and hurting this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I said it before the fight. I didn't want to hurt the guy. You know what I'm saying? So everything that I've done, I said I was going to do. I said this was levels to it. I said he was an amateur versus a pro. And then I went out there and showed that, and people are upset. There are people who are legit mad at me for not knocking this dude out.
Yeah.
Even Dana White's like, yo, you should have finished him. First of all, that's supposed to be your man. You should be thanking me that I didn't give him severe brain damage.
Right.
I didn't leave him out on the mat, on the canvas. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You should be thanking me for that as opposed to ridiculing me for my performance. But what? I didn't knock him out. Who cares?
And the other thing well, he said so many things that I just felt were off base and disrespectful in that post-fight press conference. But one of the other things that really caught my attention was when he was basically blaming you and CM Punk for having a boring fight. Well, Dana, you were the one that put that fight on the pay-per-view. Well,
yeah, that was the thing. Is like, if they were to have him on the card, to pay him what his name is worth, you have to put him on the pay-per-view portion of the card.
Mm-hmm.
That's just business. Like, I think in his mind, and he's trying to save face here. That's all he's trying to do.
Right.
He would rather take the L that he took, because I honestly think he probably put money on Punk, is what it is.
It might be.
Or he's simply upset that he can't make any more money off of him. But I said that going into this. I said, I'm going to beat this man up so he doesn't want to do this anymore. And I did that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's really where the emotion lies. It's his personal reasons. Look, he lost a lot of money. Whether he bet on him, whether he knows he's not going to make any more money for another fight, whatever it is, he lost a lot of money. But what I'm saying, he would rather have taken that L as opposed to taking the financial loss of putting him on a fight pass on the prelims and still paying this dude $500,000. I think he'd rather take this L because people bought the pay-per-view because of our fight.
Mm-hmm.
So financially, he's making his money back a little bit, but I think personally is where his feelings are hurt.
Yeah, definitely good points, man. But, you don't need the UFC. You have other options, man. I mean, you are a boxer. You're a very competent boxer. And also I saw you getting into a little chatter with Bellator fighter Aaron Chalmers a couple days ago.
Oh, man. This is getting out of hand. So now I have people who, like I had some kid, I don't know where he's from. I think he trained with Dwayne Logan. I don't even remember the guy's name. Like, he's calling, like, this dude legit messaged me and was like, I'm offended at the opportunity you got. Hold on, what? What type of entitlement is that? Where you're offended because that's just like me saying I'm offended because the guy next door to me bought a $1 million house and I couldn't afford it. Like, that's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Like,
that has nothing to do with me, just like this fight had nothing to do with you. So now you got this guy who's like, he's like 4-0 or some regional shows or whatever. He's calling me out. He wants to fight. But even in his bio, his Twitter bio, it says he's trying to be a UFC champion, right? My thing is like, look, if you're trying to be a UFC champion, why are you calling me out? I already stated in the beginning, that's not my goal. That's not my path. But yet people are trying to use me as a catapult to the next level off my name, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then they got, of course, Daniel Bryan said what he said, but it is what it is there.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have this British Jersey Shore guy in Bellator. So, and that's the other thing, like, I don't give people how they're trying to change the narrative, right? They have all these people coming at me. And then they try to flip the script and say, you tweeted me first or something like that. Dude, I didn't even know who this cat was. I still don't know who he was because I don't care enough to look him up. All I'm hearing is like the dude was on a British Jersey Shore and he's like fights in Bellator. So I guess he was asked about me and he tweeted, he said, I would fight Mike. Something like to the notion that he would fight me. Someone sent me the tweet. All I responded was like, yo, you could have tagged me. That's literally all I said.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, we going to fight and are you chicken or scared? Whatever he said. I'm like, I was just asking a question. Why didn't you tag me? That's all I asked. And now it turns into this back and forth. But then the people and then I don't even think he's running his account. To my understanding, his manager runs the account. So it may not even be him out here doing the actual tweeting.
That happens a lot, yeah.
But my whole thing is like, why are y'all coming at me? Y'all are coming at me for the attention.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like I'm going. First of all, I don't like Bellator. Bellator doesn't like me. Bellator, for outside of just having to pay me what I'm worth, which they're not going to do, I need a public apology from Bellator, which they're not going to do, for the way they treated me.
I'm ignorant to the story.
They kicked me out of the event a couple years back because they were offended.
Okay.
Like they were upset at something so trivial that had nothing to do with them. It was basically like a tweet that got retweeted, and so they got upset. So basically, just real quick, there was a UFC or a Bellator in Houston. I had like 9 teammates on the card, right? Okay. So I was doing both. I was cornering, and I had applied for media credentials, and I was going to shoot the main card, which only had 1 teammate on the main card, but I really was there for like for the Kimbo and Royce Gracie fight. So while I was in the back, we ended up getting kicked out of we're in the big locker room, right? Because a lot of my teammates were on the undercard. Mm-hmm. So halfway through, one of the Bellator officials comes back and they kick us out of the locker room. We're in the visitor locker room because we had so many people, right? It was all the fighters, cornermen, officials, right? So they come back and say, well, we have to move y'all. Now, the dude could have legit lied and made up whatever excuse he wanted to, but he was honest about it. He came back and he was like, well, Ken Shamrock doesn't like the size of his locker room, so we're going to give him this one. And we're all looking around like, hold on, y'all going to give one guy this entire locker room? And it's all of us in here? Like, it made no sense, right?
Wow.
Whatever. So they kick us out, and they put us, like, in a broom closet. Like, it was like a broom closet for the Toyota Center. But nevertheless, it was this small-ass room for a bunch of people that we all couldn't fit. So I basically said, was like, man, we just got big league by Ken Shamrock. You know, he took our locker room or whatever. Well, a journalist retweeted it. Bellator saw it. They sent out a search party for me.
Wow.
They sent out and I just happened to be because by this time, because like I said, I had a teammate. Most of my teammates were on the undercard or like swing bouts, and then I had another teammate who was on the main card. By this time, I'm in the locker room of the teammate on the main card, so they didn't know where I was. Anyways, I'm going back to get my stuff because I'm going now to go shoot the main card, and then they finally saw me. And they kicked me out, or they were like, why did you do that? And I'm like, why did I do what? And they were like, well, you tweeted that. And I was like, oh, because it happened. Yeah. And so I was like, but no, and now, if they would have came to me and said, hey, don't tweet anything from the back, I would have respected that. Mm-hmm. But no, they didn't do that. Like, no one said, don't tweet anything from the back. And then people wanted to get on mad at me on the internet. They was like, well, you shouldn't have been back there tweeting anyway. What are you talking about? So now, when you're in the locker room, you can't tweet now. Like, they're just fake outraged in this modern era of life.
Was that in the Scott Coker regime?
I think so, because it was a Kimbo Dada fight. But
yeah,
you know what? It's not. I don't even think it had to do with Scott Coker.
Right.
I think it was his social, because I remember it was his social media people.
Okay.
And they're just assholes, right? And so sidebar. I got kind of distracted. But anyway, I would need a personal apology from those cornballs. And I know you're laughing, but I'm legit because like that. I mean, I got some clicks off of it and wrote an article about it. But my thing is like, yo, you can't go around trying to use your power play to disrespect people.
No,
you know what I'm saying? And that's what I felt I was disrespected. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
These little dweebs, I smacked him anyway. But whatever.
I mean, you talk about entitlement. I mean, one guy. I mean, that's just I don't know. That's just you hear all these stories about some of these guys, and you used to respect them, and all these stories come out about them, and it's just like, really, man, you needed a huge ass room. I mean, I don't know. It just what the hell's wrong?
It was crazy. Like it was legit crazy. Like we're all looking around, like, what are you talking about? Why are we leaving? And again, that dude could have lied. He could legit lie because we asked. We was like, hey, why are we getting kicked out? And he would have legit lied, and no one would have even questioned him about it. But he was honest about it. And so then his honesty got me kicked out.
Hey, before I let you go, man, I saw on, I think it was Twitter, you retweeted this crazy article that I ended up reading because it caught my eye. It was about the door to hell in Turkmenistan. Did you read that? I
didn't get to read it, but I've heard about it.
Man, that is crazy.
I want to go just to like check it out, but I'm not gonna get too close because I'm afraid that it'll probably like sink in or something.
Right? I mean, literally, it literally looks like a hole to hell. It's nuts, bro.
Hey, so question for you: how did you score the fight? Because I've been hearing your scores. I'm just curious to know how you scored the fight.
The Punk fight, you and Punk?
Yeah.
I scored it 30-27. I thought I didn't give a 10-8 round any round. I'm one of the old school guys that, to me, a 10-8 round has to be like super ridiculous. You beat the shit out of him. You clearly won it. You clearly won, in my opinion, every round. It wasn't even close. Oh. If people gave you a 10-8 round, I ain't mad at it because you clearly beat his ass. It's just I'm more rigid when I give a 10-8 round. But man,
cool.
There's
because someone told me. Someone had a little birdie tell me you scored at 29-28. And I was like, what round did he give him?
Me, 29-28? No. There's no round that. No.
And when you hit me up, I was like, yo, I got to ask him about it. I did hear people say that. And I was like, how? But I don't know. People like talking.
Yeah, that's definitely true. People do a lot of talking. But social media, man, you're at The Truth Jackson on Twitter and the very same on Instagram, right?
Yeah, The Truth Jackson, man. You can follow me for all of the dope content. I'm back working the shows. Like I had a Submission Hunter Pro this past weekend in Lake Charles, and then I have LFA coming up this weekend in Beaumont. So I'm back to covering events. So you're gonna get all the dopest combat sports shots.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, man. It's always fun talking with you. The floor is yours, man. If you'd like to shout out anything else.
Man, no, I'm good, man. I just appreciate all of the following and the support, that I picked up since the fight. And if people want to, again, you can follow me on the social media at The Truth Jackson, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. And then, of course, the podcast, The Truth About Stuff, is all on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and, of course, MikeTheTruth.com/podcast.
Appreciate it, man. Take care, Mike.
You too, my guy.
All right.
I don't know why anybody gives that guy flack.
He's a cool guy, man. I don't know what's next for him. He definitely won't do the Bellator thing because, as he just said in the interview, that's a crazy story he had with Bellator. I've never had an issue with any of their PR guys, but obviously he did. So
I would like to see him fight again.
I hope he does.
It really looked like his body just knew what it was doing. I want to see him fight more. I would like to see if he could improve.
There goes the neighborhood.